Invasion from Mars. Written a radio play by Howard Koch, illustrated by J.T. Morrow. The genre of this story is a play. A play is a story that can be performed for an audience. As you read, look for text that consists mainly of dialogue, characters, actions, and feelings shown through dialogue, and stage directions. On the night of October 30th, 1938, Orson Welles and the Mercury Theatre Company broadcast the radio play Invasion from Mars, adapted from the novel The War of the Worlds by H. G. Wells. Listeners who tuned in after the broadcast began were alarmed by what they heard. In this scene from the play, newsman Carl Phillips is broadcasting live from the New Jersey farm where a strange metal cylinder has crash-landed. How would you have reacted to hearing these words on your radio? Well, I've never seen anything like it, Phillips. The color is sort of yellowish white. Curious spectators now are pressing close to the object in spite of the efforts of the police to keep them back. They're getting in front of my line of vision. Would you mind standing on one side, please? Policeman. One side there, one side. Phillips. While the policemen are pushing the crowd back, here's Mr. Wilmouth, owner of the farm here. He may have some interesting facts to add. Mr. Wilmouth, would you please tell the radio audience as much as you remember of this rather unusual visitor that dropped in your backyard? Step closer, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Wilmouth. Wilmouth, I was listening to the radio. Phillips, closer and louder, please. Wilmouth, pardon me. Phillips, louder, please, and closer. Wilmouth, yes, sir. While I was listening to the radio and kinda drowsin', that Professor Fallen was walking about Wilmouth, I was listening to the radio. Closer and louder, please. Wilmouth, pardon me. Phillips, louder, please, and closer. Wilmouth, yes, sir. While I was listening to the radio and kinda drowsin', that professor fellow was talking about Mars. So I was half dozing and half... Phillips, yes, Mr. Wilmouth, then what happened? Wilmouth, as I was saying, I was listening to the radio kinda halfways. Phillips, yes, Mr. Wilmouth, and then you saw something. Wilmouth, not first off, I heard something. Phillips, and what did you hear? Wilmouth, a hissing sound like this, kinda like a 4th of July rocket. Phillips, then what? Wilmouth, turned my head out the window and would have swore I was to sleepin' dreamin'. Phillips, yes. Wilmouth, I seen kinda greenish streak and then zingo, something smacked the ground, knocked me clear out of my chair. Phillips, well, were you frightened, Mr. Wilmouth? Wilmouth, well, I ain't quite sure. I reckon I was kinda riled. Phillips, thank you, Mr. Wilmouth, thank you. Wilmouth, want me to tell you some more? Phillips, no, that's quite all right. That's plenty. Phillips, ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard Mr. Wilmouth, owner of the farm where this thing has fallen. I wish I could convey the atmosphere, the background of this fantastic scene. Hundreds of cars are parked in a field in the back of us. Police are trying to rope off the roadway leading into the farm, but it's no use. They're breaking right through. The headlights throw an enormous spot on the pit where the objects have buried. Some of the more daring souls are venturing near the edge. Their silhouettes stand out against the metal sheen. Faint humming sound. One man wants to touch the thing. He's having an argument with a policeman. The policeman wins. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's something I haven't mentioned. In all this excitement, but it's becoming more distinct. Perhaps you've caught it already on your radio. Listen. Long pause. Do you hear it? It's a curious humming sound that seems to come from inside the object. I'll move the microphone nearer. Here. Pause. Now we're not more than 25 feet away. Can you hear it now? Oh, Professor Pearson. Pearson. Yes, Mr. Phillips. Phillips. Can you tell us the meaning of that scraping noise inside the thing? Pearson. Possibly the unequal cooling of its surface. Phillips. Do you still think it's a meteor, Professor? Pearson. I don't know what to think. The metal casing is definitely extraterrestrial, not found on this Earth. Friction with Earth's atmosphere usually tears holes in the meteorite. This thing is smooth, as you can see, of cylindrical shape. Phillips. Just a minute. Something's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is terrific. This end of the thing is beginning to flake off. The top is beginning to rotate like a screw. The thing must be hollow. Voices. She's a-moving. Look, the darn thing's unscrewing. Keep back there. Keep back, I tell you. Maybe there's men trying to escape. It's red hot. They'll burn to a cinder. Keep back there. Keep those idiots back. Suddenly, the clanking sound of a huge piece of falling metal. Voices. She's off! The top's loose! Look out there! Stand back! Phillips. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrifying thing I have ever witnessed. Wait a minute! Someone's crawling out of the hollow top. Someone or something. I can see peering out of the black hole two luminous discs. Are they eyes? It might be a face. It might be. Shout of awe from the crowd. Phillips. Good heavens, something wriggling out of the shadow like a gray snake. Now it's another one and another. They look like tentacles to me. There, I can see the thing's body. It's large as a bear and it glistens like wet leather. But that face, it's indescribable. I can hardly force myself to keep looking at it. The eyes are black and gleam like a serpent. The mouth is V-shaped with saliva dripping from its rimless lips that seem to quiver and pulsate. The monster, or whatever it is, can hardly move. It seems weighed down by possibly gravity or something. The thing's raising up. The crowd falls back. They've seen enough. This is the most extraordinary experience. I can't find words. I'm pulling this microphone with me as I talk. I'll have to stop the description until I've taken a new position. Hold on, will you please? I'll be back in a minute. Fade into piano. Announcer 2. We are bringing you an eyewitness account of what's happening on Wilmouth Farm, Grover's Mill, New Jersey. More piano. We now return you to Carl Phillips at Grover's Mill. Phillips. Ladies and gentlemen, I am on. Ladies and gentlemen, here I am back of a stone wall that adjoins Mr. Wilmouth's garden. From here, I get a sweep of the whole scene. I'll give you every detail as long as I can talk, as long as I can see. More state police have arrived. They're drawing up a cordon in front of the pit, about 30 of them. No need to push the crowd back. They're willing to keep their distance. The captain is conferring with someone. We can't quite see who. Oh, yes, I believe it's Professor Pearson. Yes, it is. Now they've parted. The professor moves around one side, studying the object, while the captain and two policemen advance with something in their hands. I can see it now. It's a white handkerchief tied to a pole, a flag of truce. If those creatures know what that means, what anything means, wait, something's happening. Hissing sound followed by a humming that increases in intensity. A humped shape is rising out of the pit. I can make out a small beam of light against the mirror. What's that? There's a jet of flame springing from that mirror, and it leaps right at the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Good Lord, they're turning into flame. Screams and unearthly shrieks. Now the whole field's caught fire. Explosion. The woods, the barns, the gas tanks of automobiles. It's spreading everywhere. It's coming this way, about 20 yards to my right. Crash of microphone, then dead silence.